What if I told you some cars are so rare that only one person on Earth can own them? Not two, not five, just one. These are not just hypercars. They are the definition of exclusivity. Machines built in secrecy, designed for billionaires, and hidden from the world. Today, we're diving into the most exclusive hypercars ever made, and trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll see luxury in a completely different way. What if I told you some cars are so rare that only one person on Earth can own them? Not two, not five, just one. These are not just hypercars. They are the definition of exclusivity. Machines built in secrecy, designed for billionaires, and hidden from the world. Today, we're diving into the most exclusive hypercars ever made. And trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll see luxury in a completely different way. Let's start with the highest level of exclusivity. One-of-one hypercars, cars that exist only once, ever. The perfect example, the Bugatti La Voiture Noire. This car is not just rare, it's unique, inspired by a legendary Bugatti from the past. This modern masterpiece was built for a single client, handcrafted, customized, perfected. Everything about it was designed specifically for one person, and that's what makes it special. Because no matter how much money you have, you cannot buy another one. Price, around $18 to $20 million. But in reality, it's priceless. Now let's move to the next level. Hypercars that are not one of one, but still extremely limited. We're talking about production numbers so low that owning one puts you in an elite circle. Take the Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta. Only 3 units were ever made. 3? That's less than most private collections, and one of them is owned by Pagani himself, meaning only 2 were available to the public. That's not just rare, that's almost impossible to obtain. And then there's the craftsmanship. Every component is designed like a piece of art. Carbon fiber exposed, open top design, pure driving experience. This is not mass production, this is automotive artistry. Now we enter a completely different category. Coach-built hyper-luxury cars. These are not just built, they are commissioned, designed directly with the client. Every detail personalized. A perfect example, the Rolls-Royce Boat Tail. This car redefines customization, inspired by luxury yachts. It features a rear hosting suite, custom champagne storage, and handcrafted details that take years to complete. Only 3 exist in the world, and each one is completely different. At this level, you're not choosing options, you're creating something entirely new. So now we've seen one-of-one hypercars, ultra-limited production machines, and fully customized luxury masterpieces. But what do they all have in common? Exclusivity. That's the real value, because in a world where money can buy almost anything, the most powerful thing you can own is something no one else has. These hypercars are not about speed, not about performance, not even about luxury. They are about identity, status, and legacy, because long after they are built, long after they are sold, these cars become history, and the people who own them become part of that story. What if I told you there are cars so rare, so exclusive, that even billionaires can't buy them? Not because they can't afford them, but because they're simply not invited. These are not cars you see in showrooms. They don't appear in ads. They're not listed online. They exist in a different world, a hidden world, where access is everything, where reputation matters more than money, and where owning a hypercar is not about driving. It's about belonging. Today, we're stepping inside that world, a world of the most exclusive hypercars ever made. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why these machines are more than just vehicles. They are power, they are identity, they are legacy. Let's begin with the rarest category of all, one-of-one hypercars, cars that exist only once, no duplicates, no replicas, no second chances, the ultimate symbol of exclusivity. And nothing represents this better than the legendary Bugatti La Voiture Noire. This car is not just rare, it's history reborn. Inspired by the missing Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic, a car so valuable that its disappearance became one of the greatest mysteries in automotive history. Bugatti didn't just build a car, They created a tribute, a modern interpretation of something almost mythical. Every line, every curve, every detail was handcrafted, designed for one client, one vision, one identity. And that's what makes it so powerful, because when you own something like this, you're not just a buyer, you become part of the story. Now let's move into a slightly different category. Cars that are not one of one, but still nearly impossible to own. Ultra-limited hypercars. These cars are produced in extremely small numbers. 3, 5, maybe 10, and even then, they're usually sold out before the public even knows they exist. A perfect example, the incredible Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta. Only 3 units were ever made, and one of them was never even for sale. It belongs to Horatio Pagani himself, which means only 2 collectors in the world had the opportunity to own it. Think about that, not thousands, not hundreds, just 2. This is where exclusivity becomes almost surreal. The Zonda HP Barchetta is raw, unfiltered. It doesn't try to hide its mechanics, it celebrates them. Exposed carbon fiber, open rear wheels, a design that feels alive. This is not just engineering, this is emotion in physical form. Owning something like this changes perception, because when something is that rare, it becomes more than an object. It becomes a symbol, a signal to the world that you are part of something almost unreachable. Now we move into perhaps the most fascinating category, coach-built hyper-luxury cars. This is where the rules completely change, because here, the car doesn't exist until you imagine it. You don't choose from options. You don't pick colors from a catalog. You sit down with designers, engineers, craftsmen, and together you create something that has never existed before. The ultimate example, the stunning Rolls-Royce Boat Tail. This car is not just exclusive, it's personal, inspired by luxury yachts. It features a rear deck that opens like a piece of art. Inside, a full hosting suite, champagne storage, custom-designed accessories, everything tailored to the owner's lifestyle. And here's the most important part. Only 3 were ever made. And each one is completely different. Imagine owning a car that reflects your personality so precisely that no one else in the world could replicate it, not even if they tried. That's not customization, that's identity. So now we've explored one-of-one masterpieces, ultra-limited hypercars, and fully customized luxury creations. But all of them share something deeper, something more powerful than speed, more important than price. Exclusivity. That's the real currency. Because in a world where money can buy almost anything, the only thing that truly matters is access. Access to something rare, something unique, something impossible to replicate. These hypercars are not built for everyone. They're not even built for most millionaires. They exist for a select few, a private circle, a hidden world. And when you enter that world, everything changes. Because now, you don't just own luxury, you define it. Here's something most people don't know. Even if you have the money, even if you're a billionaire, you still might not be able to buy these cars. Because brands like Bugatti, Pagani and Rolls-Royce don't just sell cars, they choose their clients. Let that sink in. You don't apply to buy the car. They decide if you're worthy of owning it. They look at your history, your previous purchases, your relationship with the brand, your reputation. Because when a car is that rare, who owns it becomes part of its story. Here's something most people don't know. Even if you have the money, even if you're a billionaire, you still might not be able to buy these cars. Because brands like Bugatti, Pagani and Rolls-Royce don't just sell cars. They choose their clients. Let that sink in. You don't apply to buy the car. They decide if you're worthy of owning it. They look at your history, your previous purchases, your relationship with the brand, your reputation. Because when a car is that rare, who owns it becomes part of its story. Now imagine this, a hidden garage, no signs, no public access. Inside, millions upon millions of dollars in cars. Cars like the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, sitting next to rare Ferraris and Paganis. These collections exist, owned by billionaires, protected by security systems, hidden from the world, because at this level, privacy is everything. These cars are not displayed, They are protected, preserved, almost like artifacts. Now here's where things get even more interesting. These cars are not just luxury items, they are investments. Some hypercars increase in value dramatically, especially limited editions, one-off builds, rare legacy models. Collectors don't just buy them to drive. They buy them to hold, to store, to resell years later, sometimes doubling their value or even more. Now let's talk about something emotional. Driving one of these cars, because despite everything, despite the price, despite the rarity, they are still machines built to move. Imagine sitting inside a hypercar. The engine starts. The sound fills the space, the vibration, the power, the control. It's not just driving, it's an experience. A moment that very few people on Earth will ever feel. At this level, these cars are not just transportation. They are symbols. They represent power, success, exclusivity. Owning a hypercar sends a message, not just about wealth, but about access, because anyone can buy something expensive, but not everyone can own something rare. So what happens next? Will cars become even more exclusive? The answer is yes. But the definition of luxury is changing. Electric hypercars are emerging. New technologies are being developed. Customization is becoming even more extreme. And production numbers are getting smaller, which means one thing, even more exclusivity, even higher prices. So what happens next? Will cars become even more exclusive? The answer is yes. But the definition of luxury is changing. Electric hypercars are emerging. New technologies are being developed. Customization is becoming even more extreme. And production numbers are getting smaller, which means one thing, even more exclusivity, even higher prices. After everything we've explored, there's one thing that stands above all. Exclusivity is the ultimate luxury. Not speed, not power, not even price. Because in a world where money can buy almost anything, the only thing that truly matters is owning something no one else can have.